one.
The dreams of many teenagers in America for many years. The dream from all dreams has been to be discovered by Hollywood to become a star. And that dream is changing. The center of gravity of the dream is shifting.
Freedom from stress.
Hello Internet, welcome back to book review. And it's been a while, I know, since it's been a crazy past few months, to say the least. I've been really busy and all over the place, mentally and physically, really exhausted and everywhere, all at once. So yeah. Anyhow, I wanted to bring y'all some books that I've been reading as of lately, throughout the month actually, and give you more insight of the books. So yeah, have fun. And actually, I want to give a special book since I watched a movie of this book, and I want to really read it, and I want to present it to you as the first one. So here you go. Mickey 7 by Edward Ashton. And if you guys are in the Louvre, it's featuring Robert Pattinson as the cover, as this came out as a movie directed by Bong Joon-ho, a famous director who directed Parasite, and now this movie. How eye-catching. And the title is quite different, as the movie is called Mickey 17 instead of Mickey 7, and that's because Bong Joon had a little interview in the back of the book explaining why, and I'll just put it in simple terms. He just wanted to add more layers to the movie by adding a little bit more depth. So yeah. Anyhow, let me explain the book and what's it about and the whole story. Here you go. Mickey 7. The story starts off by introducing us to our main protagonist, Mickey Barnes, who is stuck in a ravine-like cave, contemplating his life and how he got there. And he gives little details throughout the story how he got there, but I'll keep it short. In simple terms, he owed a lot of money to a loan shark, so he wanted to get as far as away from the planet he originated from. And so he took a job as an expendable for a colonization expedition. So then Mickey proceeds to tell us his job as an expendable, which is pretty much dying over and over and over and getting cloned again and again and again. How fun. Which now brings us back to the ravine, where Berto shows up. Berto could help him out and pull him out the ravine, but he decides not to. It's better off to leave Mickey 7, which is the iteration he is right now, and decides to leave him to get recloned to Mickey 8. There's a whole problematic issue, which is multiples are not allowed because the originator of the cloning device ended up doing something bad. And the book is pretty much stated that it's one body belongs to one soul. So they believe multiples is a sin. And it goes into a whole plot of events where it catastrophically depends all on Mickey 7. So yeah. I thought the book was kind of a major letdown. I thought the themes were very interesting. However, they never really developed as more. Yeah, it just felt very still at a certain point throughout the story. Especially at the climax, I expected something really high. Yeah, compared to it to the movie, it was kind of meh. And then another point adding on to that was that I felt like there was no stakes throughout the book. The really only conflict throughout the book was Mickey being a multiple and Mickey being hungry. So I just felt like I was constantly repeating that over and over again. And yeah, anyways, from the negatives, let me talk about the positives. And one of the major positives, it's writing. I thought the writing was really easy to understand, as it felt kind of like a breeze to read through, as it felt conversational in a way. It felt like Mickey was talking to the reader himself, since it is a first point of view, so that's probably why. But it's still hard enough to kind of get that. So I give credit to that to Edward Aston. Nevertheless, still read the book and give it a read and kind of form your own opinion about it. Yep. Okay. One Stoner by John Williams, which is a book I've been wanting to read for quite a while now, actually. It's been a couple months that I had in my to read list, and especially since I got recommended by one of my favorite YouTubers called JB Schools. If you guys know him, he's a guy that studies for 24 hours. And yeah, this is one of his favorite books. Yeah, and I thought it would be amazing to read it and see why he likes it so much. So anyhow, let me talk about the book and what's it really about. The story is pretty much a coming of age story of a guy named William Stoner. He grows up in the start of the 19th century as everything is starting to boom, and most especially the education system. As throughout his whole childhood, he's been living around agriculture, and he was actually raised until age 19. When he graduated high school, he went straight into college to study agriculture, in which his family put him on to help out the farm that he was raised in. Yeah, this is where the story quite begins. For this is where Sonia goes to college for agriculture for about a year, and then he realizes his love for literature once he stumbles upon a random class that was talking about Shakespeare, and this is where he found his passion of literature and the arts of literature, and he wanted to become a professor and share this passion that he had of education and the arts. Oh my love. This book is a real treat to read, where it shares a beautiful story of a professor who nurtures and shares his passion of literature with the reader. As John Williams, the writer of the book, really does paint the story full of color and really does show many themes that I found quite interesting in its storytelling and in its characters, as the characters really did connect well to the overall story, most especially our main character, William Stoner, who has such a relatable quality about him that I found myself relating to him really hard. And yeah, even though he's from a whole different time century from me, I found that really quite unique. I guess I'll give you an instance. An instance is throughout the whole story, how he developed as a character, his jump from agriculture to literature, how he was raised in a farm and decided to stray away from that and do his own path, which was very different. Last but not least, I found the themes really quite interesting, as it mostly themed around the fact that William Stoner is just a casual dude, and he shows that even a small life can have a lot of meaning and can really mean a lot within the whole grand scheme of life. It shows the importance of a small life, and I found that really well wholesome. And another theme was not being a passenger within your life. It shows more of William Stoner's character in a way that he doesn't really do much within the story to change up his life and the circumstances, and he shows the result of being a passenger within your own life and just not doing anything, and it shows the consequences of it. So yeah, and for me, the biggest takeaway from this book is that passion can truly find the wonder within us. Goodbye to Tsugumi by Banana Yoshimoto. And yeah, I've been wanting to read this one for quite a while. And I had it in my to read list of December actually, since I read Kitchen by Banana Yoshimoto. And I really thought that book was really well detailed, and especially her writing and how she can describe a scenario in such a beautiful way and discreet way. I thought, why not give this book a try? So, need I say more? Let me give you a summary of it and what's it about. The book starts off by introducing us to our main protagonist, Maria. As the start of the book, she feels a sense of nostalgia looming around her as she feels the shore that she grew up in, the small little town that she once lived in. And as this happens, she gets a phone call from one of her cousins, her close cousins that she used to live with, named Tsugumi, which is obviously the title of the book. Tsugumi is described at first as very beautiful and like fragile. However, but it's until it reveals more later on that she's very rude and very mean and very ruthless as a character. It shares this at the beginning of the story, then it goes back to Maria being back at the city because she moved from the small town to the city due to her parents. And at the city, she realized how much she missed her hometown. So she decides to answer the phone call, and Tsugumi catches up with her. As this friendship of theirs at first was very mixed, to say the least. Anyways, back to the main part. Tsugumi in the phone call catches up with her, and Tsugumi pretty much invites her back to her hometown for summer vacation. And Maria decides why not. So she decides to go back to her hometown. But what she discovered is nostalgia that she once felt of the city she grew up in. What she'd be frightened of, what she discovers next. That I thought the book was very melancholic in its writing, as it feeds on a sense of urgently remembering of your past and nostalgia, a sense of feeling once past, and most especially facing it. As Maria, as a character, growing up in this small town of hers near the shore, she always felt that she was just a fragment of it, but she was actually a part of it. And another theme that I found interesting too is Maria and Tsugumi as characters are very different from one another. They're kind of like yin and yang in a way, as Maria is very nice and genuinely helpful as a person, and Tsugumi on the other hand is ruthless, just cruel and mean, and does so many bad remarks to Maria and to other people around her, and she chose tantrums. So she's just a really bad character in general. But I think that's what adds to the book, her badness as a character because it feels Maria to be better to understand her. And the last thing is the writing. I found very very bonkers and banane, as I still can't figure out why Banana Yoshimoto as a writer can find like ways to describe things in such detail. She can describe a shore in so many ways. Here are some quotes that I found. Boop boop boop. That she describes the shore that Maria lived in such detail, and it really kind of captures that atmosphere that she was going for. Need I say more? I'm a fan of the book. It's a book of nostalgia and a book of connection and friendship and bondship. And yeah, you read it and form your own opinion about it. Yep. Okie dokie. So that was pretty much book review. Yep, totally read all the books that I read this one. I felt Stoner was the most stand-up book out of all of them, and I totally recommend that one to every one of y'all. Read them and leave a comment down below, and leave any recommendations down in the comments below too. I'll love that. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and see y'all later, alligator.
Baby, you're my kind. You're my kind. I made up my mind.
The starter brand shorts.